I think that the concept of conservation that was developed in America remains, as I've termed it, the last act of American genius, of true American genius. You know, we spent, in the last 10,000 years of human existence, we basically pushed ourselves along a path that said the right way to go is to separate ourselves as much from nature as possible. We will no longer depend on wild nature. We will farm and raise everything that we need. We will make it predictable to ourselves. And in doing so, we will displace wildlife, we'll displace wild animals, we'll take wildlife habitat, etc. What came out of the ferment in the United States of America in the latter part of the 19th century and early 20th was a struggle to try to find a way to accomplish two things. One, to rescue wildlife that was being depleted and maintain it in perpetuity. And secondly, however, to allow human beings to engage and utilize that resource in a sustainable way. And that really is the birth of conservation. And this has now become, if you look at all of the rhetoric internationally, we went from having the most common of species today and previously that were depleted, almost gone from the continent. We have brought them back to incredible numbers. In some cases, some might say excessive numbers for white-tailed deer in some regions, or too many turkeys in people's driveways. But we took those species from absolutely nothing. If this country had had an Endangered Species Act in 1910, all of the common species that are hunted in this country today would have been on it. The United States developed this different ethos, this different approach, and what did it do? It stopped the slaughter of wildlife, it rescued imperiled species, all without Endangered Species Acts, and maintained this process for 100 years, recovered those populations to incredibly high numbers, and along the way allowed millions and millions and millions of citizens to harvest wildlife, to utilize wildlife, to feed their families, to feed their homes, to build small businesses, to generate jobs in this country, and to formulate an army of people concerned about the future of wildlife. And one of those armies is, of course, the hunting and the angling communities of this country. So yes, I believe that the idea of conservation, that this should be every citizen's right. And furthermore, as Roosevelt said, it was an act of citizenship to engage in the conservation of wildlife. Yeah, I believe that was an act of American genius, and this country has had a lot of acts of genius.